When working with text in a website, you occasionally come across the need to insert a character or symbol that isn't on your keyboard. In this lesson, I'll explain how to insert special characters through the Dreamweaver interface or using code hints. I'll also explain how to deal with languages such as French and German that use accented characters. So let's begin by creating a blank page and saving it in the exercises site. I'm going to call it Special Characters, with an underscore between the two words, .html. And then we'll give it a title, Special Characters. A very common character that you need to insert in a website is the copyright symbol. So one way of inserting it is to go to Insert, then HTML, Special Characters, and select Copyright. And that puts the copyright symbol in Design View, but if you look at the underlying HTML, what you've got is ampersand, copy followed by a semicolon. And this is what is known as an HTML entity. It's a short piece of code that tells the browser to display a particular symbol. HTML entities always begin with an ampersand and they always end with a semicolon. And usually the letters in between are an abbreviation of the name of the symbol, so they're easy to recognize, and you'll find yourself quickly remembering many of them. Now, having that ampersand there creates a bit of a problem when you put in an ampersand which is on the keyboard. So let's just put in a new paragraph and then type something which has got an ampersand in it. We've got an ampersand in Design View, but in Code View we've got ampersand followed by AMP and a semicolon. And that's because when a browser sees an ampersand, it's always expecting an HTML entity, so they've created a special entity for the ampersand. But you don't need to worry a great deal about that because, as you've just seen, typing an ampersand in Design View automatically creates the HTML entity. The other way of inserting special characters is through the Insert panel. I'll just double-click that to open it and then select the text category. And down at the bottom we have the special characters, and there's a little arrow there that opens the submenu, and we've got a list of different characters here. Let's try left quote, and you can see that it's put in a left double quote there, but the underlying code uses a number rather than letters, and a lot of characters that can't be put in directly from the keyboard use what are known as numeric entities. These are much more difficult to remember, so it's a good job that Dreamweaver does it on your behalf. Now let's take a look at that submenu again. At the bottom of it is Other Characters, and if you select that, it opens this dialog box which gives you a much wider range of characters to choose from. Let's just cancel that. Now, using both the Insert panel or the Insert menu can be quite time-consuming, so sometimes it's a lot easier just to go straight into Code View, and as soon as you type an ampersand in Code View, up pop code hints of a large number of HTML entities. And there's a little symbol on the side which shows you what the entity represents. So let's try writing something in French. I'll just close that for the moment, and then I'll type a name. We want François. And so I type an ampersand, and then I want to have the C cedilla. There it is. It's ampersand and then C cedille. If I just double click that, it inserts C cedille, and then I'll put OIS, and then I go back into Design View, and you can see that I've got François with a correct cedilla underneath the C. Now this looks fine in Design View, and of course it will also look fine in a browser, but the underlying code is very difficult to read, particularly if you've got a large number of accented characters. And many people mistakenly think that the only way to create web pages in French and German and other languages that use characters like this is to create these HTML entities. That used to be the case in the early days of the web when browsers supported only a limited range of characters. But nowadays web pages are normally encoded in UTF-8, As you can see here, we're using UTF-8 in the meta tag. And UTF-8 supports most written languages. In the Assets folder for this course, I've got a document that's written in French, so let's just open that. It's in Assets, Text, and then Special Characters. And there's a Microsoft Word version, and there's also one in rich text format. I'm going to use the Microsoft Word one, and then just bring that in here. And this is the beginning of the novel Les Miserables, and it's got lots of accented characters in there. I'm going to copy all of that to my clipboard, then go back into Dreamweaver, and I'll just go another paragraph down there. And I'm going to use Paste Special, so Shift-Control-V or Shift-Command-V on a Mac, and text with structure plus basic formatting, bold italic, that's fine. OK. And it's inserted all the French in characters for me, and you can see that those characters are also in the underlying HTML. So if you've got a German or a French keyboard or an international keyboard, as long as you type into code view using the correct characters and using the correct accents, they will be preserved in the underlying HTML. And as you've just seen, you can also copy and paste French and other accented languages directly into Dreamweaver and preserve all of the accents in the underlying HTML. If you're creating a site that uses only a few expressions in a language with accented characters and you don't have the correct keyboard, using the HTML entities is fine, and you can get most of them by using the Insert menu and then HTML Special Characters, or by going to the Text section of the Insert panel. But if you're using a lot of text in a language that uses accented characters, either use an international keyboard to put in the correct characters or copy and paste from a Word document. For other special characters, such as the copyright and common currency symbols, use the Insert menu or the text category of the Insert panel. And if you know the HTML entity for the character that you want, simply drop into Code View and use the code hints.